Hi everyone, welcome back to 3 News Now. I'm Stephanie Haney. Today is Tuesday, March 23rd. Thanks for being here to get filled in on the top stories from WKYC.com and our WKYC app. We start with an update out of Boulder, Colorado, where there was a shooter situation at a grocery store yesterday. We now know the names of those victims. There were 10 people killed at the Boulder, Colorado grocery store called King Soopers. Those 10 people include a Boulder police officer who was the first to arrive at the scene. That police officer is Eric Talley, who is 51 years old. The remaining 9 victims are Denny Strong, age 20, Nevin Stanisic, age 23, Ricky Olds, age 25, Trelona Bartkowiak, age 49, Suzanne Fountain, age 59, Terry Leaker, 51 years old, Kevin Mahoney, age 61, Lynn Murray, age 62, and Jody Waters, 65 years old. The suspect was taken into custody. He's being treated at the hospital for a leg injury and is expected to be released from the hospital later today and then will be transported to Boulder County Jail. Once he's booked on charges, he faces 10 counts of first-degree murder. Here in Northeast Ohio, police are looking for 2 persons of interest in the fatal shooting that happened at Cleveland's My Friends restaurant. That was early on Monday morning, so they're asking for help in identifying those people. We do have photos of them at WKYC.com and the WKYC app. Now, the 2 men who have been identified as the shooters have been both arrested. That's a 29-year-old and also a 25-year-old. The shooting happened at My Friend's restaurant on Detroit Avenue. That was just about before 4 a.m. on Monday, and when officers arrived, they found 2 people on the ground with gunshot wounds, a 23-year-old woman and a 27-year-old man, and both were taken to Metro Health Medical Center, and they were later pronounced dead. The Cuyahoga County Medical Examiner's Office identified those victims as Giangela Rivers of Euclid and Keandre Austin of Cleveland. If you know anything about the identities of the men who are pictured on WKYC.com, and also you can find that in the WKYC app, please contact the Cleveland Division of Police. You can call them or get a message to them at 216-623-5464. Again, that's 216-623-5464. And you can also provide anonymous information by calling Crime Stoppers, and that is 216-25-CRIME. Again, that's 216-25-CRIME. Now, here in Ohio, here in Northeast Ohio, almost all of our top 6, top 7, top 8 stories on the website right now are about how to get the COVID-19 vaccine. And we learned yesterday from Governor Mike DeWine that if people want to get in who are 16 and older and there are open appointments that are not being used, anyone is able to register according to Governor DeWine for those open appointments. He did say he's leaving the discretion up to the places that are providing COVID-19 vaccines, but there are appointments that are open that do need to be filled, despite the fact that appointments are scarce in some areas. Now, if you are looking for a COVID-19 vaccine, there are a lot of steps to take to get to that vaccine process. If you go to gettheshot.coronavirus.ohio.gov, that's where you can put in your zip code. Once you put in your zip code, a list of providers in your area will come up. Well, from there, you then need to go to that provider's website or sometimes make a call to that provider and see if you can get an appointment for the COVID-19 vaccine through those providers. Now, if you're trying to get an appointment at the Wolstein Center at Cleveland State University, the mass vaccination site, those new appointments open up daily at 2 p.m. and you'll need to put in that zip code for the Wolstein Center. So if you go to gettheshot.coronavirus.ohio.gov, it says right there where you would put in your zip code the address that you need to put in if you're interested in trying to get a vaccination at the mass vaccination site at the Wolstein Center. Now, if you're going to go through a different provider, here's something to be aware of, maybe a bug in some of the systems. If you're going through the process and looking for an open appointment, for some of these you do need to make a profile on their website, and if you don't do that, if you go through and you seem to find an open appointment, then it's going to kick you out of the system to make that profile. So for places like CVS and Walgreens, make that profile first before you go through the process to try and find a vaccination. Other places, other things you need to know about, the no waste list. This is at Walmart pharmacies, but not at every Walmart pharmacy. You can call them, many of them, and get on the no waste list, and what that means is if someone who has called for an appointment but doesn't show up, you can be on the standby list to get in there and get that vaccine so it doesn't go to waste, because these vaccines do need to be stored and the appointments need to be accounted for. So if there's an appointment that someone's made that they don't show up for, previously that was for people who aren't eligible, but as the vaccines are opening up now to Ohio, it's also a way to sort of just get in maybe a little sooner if you're having trouble getting an appointment. And we have all of this at wkyc.com/vaccine and on our WKYC app. So check that out for all of that information. Now let's talk about the latest COVID-19 numbers. These numbers come from Johns Hopkins University. Globally, the total number of cases is now at 123,924,888, and the number of deaths is now at 2,727,640. We've got 4% of the global population here in the U.S., but the most cases and the most deaths of any other country, although we're seeing a slight downtick today in those percentages. 24.1% of the global cases are here in the U.S., and 19.9% of the global deaths have been here in the U.S. Both of those are down 0.1 percentage points. Here in the U.S., the total number of cases that have been reported is 29,884,128. and the total number of deaths reported is 543,196. Here in Ohio, we've got the latest information from the Ohio Department of Health. In the last day, there have been 1,628 new COVID-19 cases reported. That's up from yesterday. And we do have new death numbers reported from the Ohio Department of Health. The total number is now at 18,382 confirmed COVID-19 deaths. That's 42 more than was last reported. We've seen 142 new COVID hospitalizations in the last day. That's up quite a bit from yesterday. The total number of people in the hospital with COVID is now 868. That's also up from yesterday. And of those people, 226 are being treated in an ICU. That's up 2 from yesterday. Now, the total number of new ICU cases, new ICU admissions in the last 24 hours is 12, and that's down by 1 from yesterday. Taking a look at the number of people vaccinated in Ohio, it's at almost 14% of our population, a little over 1.6 million people, and almost 22,000 new complete vaccinations in the last day. Those who have started the vaccination process, almost 24.7% of Ohioans. That's close to 2.9 million people in Ohio, and almost 62,000 more people in the last day. Now, yesterday we told you how you can get a free donut if you get the COVID-19 vaccine. Well, Cleveland Cinemas is offering a free bucket of popcorn to people if you show your COVID-19 vaccination record card. Now, Cleveland Cinemas owns both Cedar Lee Theater and Chagrin Cinemas, and you will get your free 44-ounce bucket of popcorn if you show your valid vaccination card after you've gotten your COVID-19 vaccination shot. And that's good through April 30th. Now, we are keeping an eye on what's happening for the Cleveland Cavaliers. It's been a topic of conversation what's going to happen with Andre Drummond. Looked like the Dallas Cavaliers were interested in a trade, but that didn't pan out. So it's now looking like Andre Drummond will just be bought out after the trade deadline. The NBA trade deadline is March 25th, and he's been sitting since February 12th, by the way. That's the last game he played for the Cavaliers because they've made their intentions clear that he will not be a Cavalier for very much longer. Here's the thing that's kind of being sticky with this trade situation. There's been a lot of interest from the Mavericks, from the Los Angeles Lakers, the Brooklyn Nets, the Toronto Raptors, but his salary is $28.75 million, and under NBA rules, if you will be trading someone, you've got to send back salary that relatively matches that amount. So that's a little bit complicated when it comes to a trade. So much more likely that his contract will be bought out, and of course we will let you know what happens there as we look to see what happens for the future of Andre Drummond beyond the Cleveland Cavaliers. Now, if you live in Lake County and if you're active on their Facebook groups, particularly the Mentor Ohio Facebook groups, you might have noticed people posting videos and images of a mysterious object or person. And the question is, what's going on in the security and doorbell footage that's being posted in these Facebook posts? And some people are thinking, is this something supernatural? I don't know, but it is a white object that appears to be moving very quickly. Some people say it kind of looks like a person. There's even been a police report about it. The Mentor Police Department were called on March 10th at around 10:40 p.m. to the area around the Bellflower Elementary School, and it was related to a suspicious incident. Some people thought they saw something that looked like a roughly 7-year-old girl running in the area. like around the Wyatt's greenhouse area. Well, an officer went out there, and the officer said that he spotted something that looked like a child fitting that description, and then he got out of the vehicle to try and catch the child, but nobody was there, and there were no signs of anyone. He said it looked like a small child, though, running, but too fast for a child. So who knows what's going on in the Mentor area in Lake County, but if you're in there and you want to check out those Facebook pages, something worth thinking about. It's on our WKYC.com website and also our WKYC app as well if you want to check that out. Now, here is something that is not an illusion of any kind. The Swensons has begun construction in Willoughby, and they're celebrating that with 100 free Galley Boy burgers today with a food truck. That's happening from 5 to 7 p.m. That's at the site of the new location. It's 34725 Euclid Avenue in Willoughby. Again, that's 34725 Euclid Avenue in Willoughby. That's near the intersection of Somme Center Road. So if you want to get a Galley Boy today and check out the new site of what will soon be a Swensons, we don't know the opening date just yet, but these things tend to go up pretty quickly. You can do that today between 5 and 7 p.m. One more thing for you today. Today is National Puppy Day, and it is also the launch of Greg Murray's sequel book, Peanut Butter Puppies. Now, here's a fun fact about this. This book was actually supposed to launch last week, but there were some shipping issues that were COVID-related, so it got pushed back to today, which is National Puppy Day. How serendipitous is that? So in this book, there are 70 rescue puppies in some very sticky situations, licking peanut butter off their snouts, about 130 photos. It's absolutely adorable, and Greg is doing some really cool things. He's already had a donation match with his publisher for pre-orders, so tonight, on live streams on Facebook from 7 to 7:50 p.m. and on Instagram from 8 to 9 p.m. He'll be doing live stream giveaways. So he'll be selecting which of the rescue groups that he worked with by drawing them from a hat will each receive $1,000. That'll be 3 different groups that receive that money. And if you buy the book today on his website, giamurrayphoto.com, he'll be entered into a drawing to have $100 donated in your name to one of those rescues. And that's something that he'll also be revealing who wins that on his live streams today. And if you do purchase a book between 7 and 9 p.m. from the online store, he'll be signing them live on those live streams. So lots of cool events happening today for the launch of Peanut Butter Puppies, which you can also pick up locally. So if you want to check out the rundown of where you can pick up those things locally, pick up Peanut Butter Puppies locally, make sure you listen to my 3 Things to Know with Stephanie Haney podcast. That's on every podcast platform. You can also find it linked at WKYC.com/3 Things to Know. Okay, that's it for your 3 News Now update for Tuesday, March 23rd. I'll see you next on What's New with your trending stories in Clicking in Cleveland. I'll see you back here tomorrow for more 3 News Now. Between now and then, everyone stay safe and be well. I'm Stephanie Haney.